Hey, so if you didn't get to catch this carnation basket, you can check back on the videos here and look up the carnation basket and see how we made this one. It's Santa's workshop this morning. So I'm just going to make a few fun arrangements and we'll have some Christmas fun together. So Christmas is a great time for flowers. And whether you're picking up a bunch of carnations at your professional florist, or you're a professional florist and you bring some of those carnations home, or if you go to the grocery store and pick up one of those beautiful bouquets that are there that are red and green, now is the time to make beautiful arrangements. So I just thought I'd give you a few fun ideas and we'll make some fun arrangements. So we made this one. So you can check it out. I'm going to set it over here so it's out of the way. All right. I'm running out of room. So we were talking about coffee. So I love having my coffee in the morning. It's really important. I drink a Cafe Verona. That's my favorite one. I like to grind the beans myself. I grind the beans. I do it in my Keurig, or not my Keurig, my Chemex. I used to have a Keurig. I don't have a Keurig anymore. I have a Chemex because it's chemistry, right? And my niece is a chemistry master in chemistry. And so I use the Chemex to make my coffee every morning. And so we were talking about coffee cups. And a friend of mine, Barbara, said to me, you can put whatever you want in your coffee cup. And then if you blow on it, people just think it's coffee. So it could be wine, it could be whiskey, it could be whatever, but just drinking my coffee. So I think that's fun. All right, so I got my coffee. I had my Christmas carols on. You put your Christmas carols on. That's great. Remember, this is a great way for us to relax too. The health and wellness benefits of flowers are super important. And as we are actually arranging these flowers, our body's secreting endorphins that make us feel more calm, more relaxed. Homes that have flowers in them have less arguments. People are happier. They feel less depressed. Workspaces. I know so many of us are working from home right now, and there's a holiday crunch coming, right? And so people are more creative. When they have flowers in their workplace, they are more creative and they have better solutions to challenges or problems when the flowers are around. So I was talking to Kel this morning and I was like, hey, you need some flowers on your desk. So, because he's working from home and he's doing his job. And so I was like, so let's make some flowers for your workspace. That would be really fun, right? So we've got a wonderful little bouquet or vase here, a little square one, and we'll fill it up with some fun flowers. We're going to start always with our structure of foliage, right? So I've got some foliage here that's going to be perfect for this. What am I going to start with? You know what? I'm going to start with this one. So what I did was I had a little broadcast event that we did the other night. And so I got some of this ready. And what I did was I went in and I stripped off the needles on the bottom of my evergreen and I placed them in a bucket to hydrate, because most of the time we get evergreen in boxes. And we keep those boxes. I keep mine in the garage. It's 29 degrees out there right now. So it's 29. That's a great place to keep your evergreen. You can keep it in freezing temperatures. It stays really fresh. But when you bring it back in, you need to hydrate it, because if you don't hydrate it, it's going to dry out. Okay, so I hydrated it. We're going to cut it, and then we're going to drop this into my vase. And look it. So now I don't have any of those stems falling below the waterline. The thing I will tell you is, even if we use our CVBN tablets and our Chrysler Professional 3, which I've done, with evergreen and carnations too, our water's going to get cloudy. And so it might be good. And especially since with evergreen, we can leave it out for a couple weeks. Our carnations might fade, pull them out. We can add other flowers if we want to, and do other things, or chrysanthemums or whatever you want to do. But we probably should change that water. This is the one time of year I would advocate changing the water. And I need to go around the arrangements in the house and change the water today because it's cloudy and it's murky. That's the other thing, is I don't like to look at that, okay? It's not attractive. It may not necessarily be so bad for the flowers, but it's just not attractive. So I'm going to change that. And it's a two-person job. What I typically do is I grab the arrangement up and then I hold the arrangement. Kel fills up the vase, puts the flower nutrient back in it, and then I drop them back down inside there. Okay, so it's a two-person job. It's really hard to do by yourself if you want it, because you don't really need to recut if you do it fast. Okay, so that's a good, helpful little tip. tip for you there. Look, okay, so we got some juniper. Look at that juniper with those blueberries on it. I think that's so gorgeous. And I love that juniper smells a little bit like gin, right? And my gin success, we have a video here about your paperwhite narcissus using gin in your paperwhites, the only bulb that you do it with. Someone sent me a question and said, does something other than gin work? No. So nothing works. Gin works. It's gin. You got to buy the gin. That's what you have to do. Okay. So just so we've cleared that up. All right. So we're going to add a little bit of cedar. The cedar, again, it smells like apples. It smells like Christmas apples. I don't know why I feel that way about it, but I do. It smells like Christmas apples. And I like to have a little assortment of greens inside here. Sugar pine, princess pine, whatever you might call it in your area is one of my favorites. And I really, truly love that long needled look in the bouquet too. Let's see. And we've got a little bit of silver. Silver is different from noble because it's silver on the backside. And it has more of a classic, I guess what I would call a wintry scent. Okay. And I got a piece of winterberry. This is my last piece of winterberry for this year, I think. So of course Kel gets it. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. So look how pretty that is sitting up in there. Yeah. Winterberry is one of my favorites. Here in Michigan, winterberry is protected. It's a protected species. And so if you see it on the side of the road here in Michigan, I'm warning you right now, do not go cut it because it's a $2,000 fine. And I know that because when I first moved to Michigan, I went out one day and I was cutting some by the side of the road and I just thought I was being, Mr. Forager and everything. And this wonderful little police officer pulled up and said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm cutting this winterberry. Isn't it pretty?" And he was like, "Yeah, it's a protected species. It's a $2,000 fine." And I was like, and I'd only cut a couple pieces. And he was very kind to me. And he said, "You know what? Since you're new here," I still had my Georgia license actually from when I lived in Atlanta. And he said, "I'm going to be really nice to you and it's okay. But don't ever do it again." And I was like, okay. So it is an endangered species here, but you know who has the most incredible winterberry is my friend Lane at Sun Valley. He's been posting pictures recently on social media, and it's glorious. It is the most beautiful winterberry I have ever seen. That ilex that he is growing is out of this world. So check it out, Sun Valley Flower Farms. Just look at it online. It's wrapped in craft paper. It's so gorgeous. Oh my God. Pretty, pretty, pretty stuff. Okay. So let's see here. I'm going to tuck one more piece back here because I just want the fragrance. All right. So let's see what this looks like. See? So we've got a nice mixture of different types of evergreen in there. And I think that's really fun. So now we're going to add, so I've got all kinds of flowers over here. Okay. So we are going to add some red carnations. That will be fun. We are going to add some mini carnations. We are going to add some button pom-poms. We are going to add a couple of these fabulous Fuji chrysanthemums. Anastasia, aren't those beautiful? I have got a couple of different hypericum. I've got some burgundy hypericum and some pink hypericum because I think that contrast is important to have that. And some roses. I have a protea. Of course, we need to have a protea. That's going to make Kelly even more creative. I don't know if that's possible, but we're going to give it a try. And I'm going to use some peppermint carnations too, because I love these. When I was a little kid, we grew peppermint carnations and they had a jaggedy, roughly edge on them. And then the stripes were real wide. They weren't like fine and lacy like this. I wonder whatever happened to those varieties. I think that's pretty interesting that, just those different memories come up at different times of year. So we have this pink mink protea. Isn't that pretty? Because you need a little bit of something unusual or different when you're making an arrangement. And I think that's a really fun way to do that. And so then let's add our red carnations because I think those are important. I'm going to strip off any of the foliage, even those just 2 little pieces of carnation foliage. It's important to remove those that are going to fall below the water line because they're going to create bacteria for us if we leave them on there. Okay. One little red carnation over here too. See, so they're like being friends. They're all going around him. There we go. And saying, hey, how's it going? How's it going, Mr. Protea, for the holidays? And then let's use some of our red roses. So these are actually orange, but I love the, because, you know, they kind of look like a Christmas red, right? And I think it's interesting because I think, you know, color is very subjective. Everybody sees color a little bit differently because of our rods and cones in our eyes. And so, you know, I've noticed that sometimes I will say, oh, I think this is green. And Kel will say, I think it's more yellow. And I think it's just the different ways that we see those colors. Look at that burgundy. Look at him. He's a little prize because he's got 2 stems. And he is going to go right behind Mr. Protea. And then we'll take our other one and we're going to put our other pink one over here. And you know what? I'm going to grab one more little pink one because I think that since he is a lighter color and for visual balance, I'm going to add him over here because he's going to help weigh out our Protea on that side. Okay. All right. So then we're going to add a couple of these Anastasia. Fuji mums. I don't like it when we call these spider mums. I know that that's what they are. I know we say that. But the thing I remembered one time I was working in my flower shop and I said to this lady, I was helping her figure out all the flowers we were going to put in her grandmother's, an arrangement for her grandmother's memorial. And I said, oh, we should put some spiders in there. Wouldn't that be great? And she said, my grandmother hated spiders. Why would you want to put spiders in her bouquet? And I was like, oh, yeah, because we call them spiders. People don't know. And so wouldn't you like some Fuji chrysanthemums in there? These chrysanthemums are actually named after Mount Fuji in Japan, which is cool. But, you know, saying spiders, I think it's funny because some people say different, you know, they say ponds for pom-poms. I don't like that. I like to call it a spray chrysanthemum or a pom-pon. And it is pom-pon, Pompons, M first, N second. Yeah, but, you know, pom-pons. I had a guy who used to work for me who used to say slaw, and that was salal, slaw. And I was like, oh, okay. So, you know, and people sometimes say dens for dendrobiums. I don't like that either. We need to say the whole flower name. Don't say carns. You know, we don't say row. Hey, you want some rose in there? We say you want some roses in there. That'd be good. Well, this little guy's being stubborn. There he goes. There he goes. All right. So, yeah. This is what it's like to work with Jay in the workroom. I work for several of my friends, and some of the most interesting conversations, and I've learned more about more people and fun things from working together at the flower bench. I think that's wonderful. So look at, isn't that pretty? I love it. Oh, and I see I have a piece of cedar that is down under the water line. Okay. So then that means this all has to come up. And I am going to go in with my precision cutter from my friend Jessica at Dram and just take off those couple pieces of that. Okay. So those should not be below the water line. Do not want them down there causing trouble. All right. And let's see. I think, look at this. It's pretty. It's a pretty little grove grain with a little edge on it. And I know I love ribbon, and I hope you do too. My friends, at theribbonroll.com. It's a great resource, and they had a post yesterday that said they can still get you ribbon for Christmas. So if you're still looking for your ribbon stash and supply, they are your answer. And this is from them actually too. So, and I'm just going to tie that into a little bow. And there we go. Final step always, Kreisel Professional Glory. Make sure it lasts longer, 26% longer. And that's going to be pretty on a desk. Again, flowers in the business place, making us feel more creative, making us find better solutions to challenges or problems. Houses with flowers in them have less arguments. Flowers make us happier, less depressed. It's the perfect flower power gift for the holiday. So I hope you enjoyed this. We're gonna make one more here. So stop back and catch that one too. All right, take care. Until next time, keep having fun with flowers.